3:50 on March 3rd, A7. So I'm going to start by asking, what is your age?
I'm 18.
Okay. What is your race?
I'm white, or Caucasian.
Where did you live growing up?
Like town-wise?
Yeah.
I live in Bristol, Connecticut.
How would you describe the town to someone who didn't know?
There's basically two sections. You have like the rich white kids who live on top of the hill, where like there's a big golf course, nice houses, and then like I guess you have like the middle where like I live at the bottom, but like I'm not too poor, not too rich. It's kind of like evened out, and you have what we call the West End, where it's like kind of like the hood or like stuff like that.
So do you identify with a political party?
Technically, yes. Technically, I'm a registered Democrat.
Okay. What are your overall views of government?
I feel like honestly, jeez.
I'm hitting you with the tough questions.
Yeah, no, it's like this wasn't the first one. Let's see. I like the government, although, like, I feel like sometimes we don't make the best choices for what I consider to be the majority of people.
And when you say we don't make the best choices, you mean?
Like, for them, like, I guess a lot of people are more even in a, like, not progressive movement, but, like, we're trying to get away from, like, old values. And I think, like, most people in Congress and, like, in the House, like, don't really understand that. Some do, but a lot don't.
So how often would you say that politics is discussed in your home? So home refers to current place of residence.
Well, now it's, like, quite a bit, yeah.
What would you say the general tone of conversation is?
A lot of them are very good about like not spilling, or not spilling, but like not showing too much emotion. Like they understand where people are coming from. That's what I try to do. I try to be like as unbiased as possible. But you can tell like there's some really hardcore, really hardcore liberals and really hardcore Republicans. So overall, it's like pretty much blended.
So you'd say you'd have a blended mix of ideas in your place of residence?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you live on campus?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you registered to vote?
Yes.
And then have you in the past?
I just voted this last election.
Okay. Was that your first time voting?
Mm-hmm.
Were you able to vote in the primary? Or did you vote in the primary?
No, I didn't. No.
Okay. Would you consider yourself invested in the political components of society? So are you informed on current events, involved in a local or national advocacy groups or campaigns?
I'm very focused on what's happening now, so yeah.
What qualities do you look for in a political candidate who is running for office?
I feel like somebody who just understands the people, like someone who gets where we've been. Like a lot of people, like, they're not... or how should I say this? Sometimes they're like doing badly, like in work, or like they don't get enough money for like to pay for stuff that they need, or sometimes they don't have enough of what they need. I feel like for people who wow, I have a stutter, so that's why I'm like kind of like thinking about it. So people who understand people. That's kind of like I'm looking for. Yeah.
So could you please define trust?
Trust?
Yep.
I feel like keeping your word is a very big part of trust, because we trust, I guess, in the political world, like we trust others to make the decisions that we want, and when they don't, we get angry. So like I feel like that's very important. Like trust is a big thing.
So what does it mean to trust the government?
To trust the government means that we trust them to do what I feel like is right. I use that in quotations because like it's very different for a lot of people. But I feel like for the majority of them, like we want to do what's best for our country to succeed and to prosper, not to like suffer. So I feel like to trust the government means to make ourselves not only better as individuals, but as a country better.
Do you think there's any difference between trusting, say, a person and trusting the government?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, I feel like trusting just a person that you know is going to, you know, if they break that promise, I feel like it's not terrible depending on what the promise is. But, like, you're trusting somebody to lead a nation or to govern something over a group of people who are, it's not a group of 5 or 10, it's a group of like hundreds and thousands. So it's also a big promise.
What issues do you find to be the most pressing in the world today? What are the big, important issues?
Overall the world, or like probably here. I'd say renewable energy is a big one.
Renewable energy?
Yeah, because we're trying to get away from the coal and the oil and trying to figure out better ways of dealing with energy. I feel like equal rights is a big one. Like, personally, from what I've seen in research, like, there's a lot of debate between how many, like, what people have equal rights or what does equal rights mean.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like equal rights in general is very big too. And yeah.
Is it the government's responsibility to solve or at least address those issues?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, especially with like renewable energy, it's a big thing because we're trying to get away from like the coal and the oil, which we've invaded Saudi Arabia for, which we've been to the Middle East for, and I feel like a lot of people are understanding now, like, we have to get away from that. We need to make our own selves better by doing better things here in the United States like that. And with equal rights, I feel like it's important as individuals that we have the same rights as our others, and nobody's higher up or lower than ourselves.
To what capacity do you believe it's the government's responsibility? How involved with those issues should they get?
Very much so, because it's for all the people. Like, we're all going to benefit from having those rights.
Mm-hmm. So does the government do a good job at addressing those major issues that you identified, or major issues that our society faces, if you believe there are major issues?
I feel like not so much now as like with Obama. I feel like Obama did a great job of what I said, but in the big picture, like all the rights that people, or not all the rights, all the events and stuff that people have been worried about, I feel like we're not doing as well. I feel like it's not just like our president's issue. It also has to do with a lot of what Congress and the House does with all presidents, really.
Yeah. Do you think the government is effective at solving the issues, if you believe it is their responsibility to solve them? So how effective is the government at solving the issues with energy and equal rights?
I feel like they're trying their best. We have made, big steps in the last, even like 5 years with that, but I feel like they're trying, which is good, but it's not like how I think it could be.
Who do you mean by they?
They as in like our government as a whole.
Okay. Thank you. So do the current political leaders in the United States reflect your interpretation of what the American governmental system is supposed to look like?
I mean, yes and no. I feel like yes, because there's a lot. I feel like America thinks that it's important for people of all different races and genders to be part of it, and I feel like yes, but you need to have good ideas too. Like, if let's say you're a woman. Oh, we need a woman in a woman in Congress, right? But she has terrible ideas. Well, that's not getting anything done. It might look good, but really, what are you accomplishing from that?
So do you trust the political leaders to solve the issues that you found to be most pressing in the world today?
Right now?
Yep.
I feel like more and more each day I'd say no.
No? And why do you feel that way?
I just feel like from who's being elected as chairmen and who's being elected, as Trump's cabinet, it's not really the ideas they have is not what is that? Oh, it's a clock. It's not what most people would consider.
What if I ask you that question 2 years ago? So if I said 2 years ago, do you trust the political leaders to solve the issues you found most pressing? What would you say?
I didn't know much 2 years ago, so I really don't know the answer.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Do you feel the government as a whole has your best interests in mind? So is the government properly representing you and your best interests?
No.
Why do you feel that way?
I just feel like a lot of millennials like me want to get away from just how things were, which is like I don't know how to say that, like how things were, and move into a place where it's like we are better not only as a nation but as people.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like right now that's not where we're going.
So do you feel the government as a whole has the best interests of all citizens in mind?
No.
And why do you feel that way?
I just feel like I feel like as a nation we're really split. Like we have some people who are who have certain ideas and values, and they have a big population. But you also have another group that's totally opposite from them. And
what would the two groups be?
I feel like I hope this isn't racist, but it's like the North and the South. I feel like they both have like just different opinions in general. I guess it depends on where you live and like your religion, if you believe in one, or like the way you work. So I feel like there's two separate groups in America, and I feel like it's hard to combine the two on what they need because they have very split and different ideas. So as a whole, it's very hard to do so, and I'm going to say no.
Okay. Could you briefly describe the difference between local and federal government? So local would be city and town and state versus federal government.
So the local government is supposed to help with the people in that city, state, or county, or wherever you are, and deal with problems that are affecting them, which you can see, like I guess you can say, some education and some infrastructure, crime possibly as well. I feel like in the federal sense, you're worried about like not just certain towns, but I guess like certain regions. So like what's affecting this region as a whole, and how can we like help them out?
So what could you tell me about your specific local government?
I know like my town's mayor right now is not it's not the best. There's been a bunch of controversy that's been around him, and I feel like he's not putting his best foot forward in my hometown.
Okay, thank you. Have you had any direct interactions with the government, so either local or federal? And could you describe them? Even in day-to-day, just the presence, have you recognized the presence of either state or local government?
I can't think of anything.
That's all right. Do you think our government will do the right thing when faced with a problem to solve? So, for example, a crisis occurs. Will the government will it take the right action? Or right is subjective to what you believe it is, but
I mean, I feel like it would, just depending on the situation. But if it was like a big crisis that affects the entire nation, like let's take a second 9/11, I feel like it would. I feel like it would do its job.
So some studies show that as people get older, they report having less trust in the government than when they were younger. So what do you think may be the cause of this?
I feel like as you grow older, you have different opinions on life from where you are. Like right now, I'm more focused on, I don't know, I guess graduating college and trying to get a job. I guess like my mom and her friends are more focused on like, how do I pay for things that cost, tax dollars and money. So I feel like they switch because we're just have different ideas and
different priorities.
Yeah, different priorities.
So do you feel that you will follow or have begun to follow this trend of losing trust in government as you get older?
Yeah, I mean, like, I did trust the government, I guess, when I knew about it, but I think as you learn more and as you, like, know what's going on, I feel like you try and lose, or not try and lose, but you actually just lose more just because of what you know as a person.
Are you okay with that? Is it okay that you have begun to follow the trend of losing trust in
No,
government?
because like I feel like trust in government is very important, and when you don't, chaos happens.
Why is trust in government important?
If I answer this, I mean, trust in government is important because if you lose trust in people, like they're not going to believe what you say, or if you do something, they're going to be like, oh, well, how does it you know, how is it going to affect me down the road, or how is it going to affect my friends? So.
And then the last question: what is the overall purpose of the government?
It's to.
This is like a political philosophy almost question.
I feel like it's to represent the people and to lead us to being a better nation.
Is your current knowledge of the government, everything we've talked about already, is it fulfilling that purpose that you have in your mind?
No.
No?
No.
Why do you think that is?
I just feel like we're very split, and to lead so many people with like the exact same mindset, like we're all different. So trying to focus in on what's important and what's not is very difficult, and no matter what happens, you're going to get hate. So I just feel like if you're going to lead the people, at least do what the majority wants and not just what you want as a person.
All right. Any final thoughts? Anything you want to add to the record?
No, I think I'm good.
All right.